We alive, baby. We alive. Welcome to the show, people. Welcome to the show, people. You know how it is. Yes, sir. You know how it is. I'm gonna put on my headsets real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all can hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. Just making sure y'all can hear me. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Just check if this microphone is in place. Is this microphone in place? Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, people. Football Talks. Coming to you live, the reclusive artist 33 in the flesh. You know how it is. You know how it is. A lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. We got the UEFA Champions League updates. You know, EPL teams catching hands. No EPL team caught any 3 points. No EPL team won a game. In these last previous weeks, first leg of the round 16, man. And it's crazy, it's super crazy because the under like EPL is known for the best league in the world, so people say, the most entertaining league in the world. It's watched by all over the globe, from Africa, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, anywhere in the world, you name it, everyone's watching the Premier League, the Barclays Premier League, now considered the English Premier League. And with that sort of notoriety, and you know, with that sort of recognition, you'd want your teams to perform. If a league is considered the best league in the world, you'd want your teams to perform in like cup competitions to represent the league. And the Queen's teams did horribly wrong and horribly trash during the course of the week. And listen. We got Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle and Tottenham. Tottenham being 16th place, yeah. Newcastle being 12th place, Chelsea being 5th, Liverpool being 6th, and Arsenal and City being first and second. Now, we gotta understand real quick, right? When you represent a certain level of excellency, especially from the Premier League, you are expected to perform on the national stage, especially Champions League. What we got from the Spanish teams like Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid is that they represented the La Liga and Spanish football with excellency because they whipped two English teams spectacular. One with Atletico Madrid whipping that Tottenham ass 5-2, and one with Madrid dominating Man City 3-0. And it's not a surprise, We've known that a lot of Spanish teams have made more finals than any other English teams. We know Spanish teams have more Champions Leagues than any other English team. We know that Spanish teams are more successful than any other English team. And to be fair with you, apart from Manchester United, there is no other team in England that can match Real Madrid's stature. There is no other team that can match Real Madrid's, you know, level of excellency and dominance in world football than Manchester United. City have just gone about, reviving their club after 2008. Arsenal are not really that sort of team to win any sort of elite trophies. Chelsea were only a competitive team after 2005. Liverpool They're not the same caliber of Real Madrid. Tottenham are Tottenham, Newcastle are Newcastle. So the representatives of teams that were represented by England were horrendous. And this is proof that the Premier League has fallen off. I mean, you have the league leaders Arsenal drawing against Leverkusen, who are sixth place in the German league, by the way. That just shows you that the set pieces in itself is a contradiction of what they're trying to perform in the league. In my opinion, I believe the Premier League is trash now. It's dust. The standard of football in that league has gone down dramatically. It used to be the most entertaining league in world football, but ever since the EPL 2020 era, it's just gone down to shit slowly. From the likes of Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, Eden Hazard to now Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, and Igor Thiago. I mean, Andre Semenyo. It's trash. The names I've just been mentioning to you are nothing compared to the names I've mentioned to you before. Hazard's always going to be better than Haaland. Mara's going to be better than Semenyo. And Wayne Rooney's going to be better than Igor Thiago. I'm just keeping it real. I have to. Jamie Vardy is a better finisher than Erling Haaland. I've said it, man. Erling Haaland was trash against Madrid, but we're gonna get to the individual teams in a minute. What I gotta mention to you is that the record for Premier League teams against Spanish teams are shit, right? The record of English teams trying to make the last four is trash. The last English team the last two English teams to make the final of the Champions League was Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. You know what I'm saying? That was the last English final. The last English team to have made a Champions League final was City, and they'd won it. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of Premier League titles, Liverpool have the most Premier League. In terms of Champions League titles, Liverpool have the most Champions League titles, and even then, they're not competing at a high level of football right now. And it's a contradiction of Arnie Slot's horrible technician, horrible tactics, horrible game in management gameplay, horrible transfer market and recruitment. And it's just gonna get worse for Liverpool at this moment. But listen, I'm not surprised that English Premier League teams are underperforming. When your first team, that's Arsenal, that has 7 draws and are number one. Second place has 6 draws. We have more draws than them in Manchester United being ninth. You understand what I'm saying? So listen, listen. It's dying. It's a dying league, the Premier League, and it's a dying league because of the lack of quality and star power that is in the Premier League now. And English teams don't really necessarily know how to play proper football. Most English teams just copy and paste from the most dominating team in England. So the most dominating team in England was Man City, and Man City had the blueprint of ball retention, ball possession play. Now, most teams in the league want to play that sort of football, which has made the league in entire itself boring. There's no teams that want to shoot outside the box, no teams that are willing to take enough risks to be outplaying other teams with different systems. It's almost like the whole Premier League is run by systems now, and that's what's making the league mediocre. But nevertheless, people are gonna keep watching the Premier League regardless because of how in the past how it's been you know branded as the best league in the world. In my personal opinion, if you want to watch the best football in terms of stylistically, you watch Premier League football. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. If you want to watch entertaining football, you watch Premier League football. I would have said La Liga in Messi and Ronaldo in the Messi and Ronaldo era, but We're not in that era anymore. And La Liga right now is a farmers league, in my opinion. And it's crazy, you know. Right now, it's a slowly dying league, and it's not gonna get better. It's just not gonna get better. And if it does get better, I'm not predicting any Premier League team to make the final anytime soon whatsoever, especially in Champions League. So um, I just want you guys to know that these lost results are a clear indication and a clear indicator that this league is going down in the pits, unless my team Manchester United saves it. But hey, listen, we got our own rebuilding, and we got our own problems to deal with. But we're gonna get to Manchester United news pretty soon. Now, let us start with Liverpool. Liverpool have just recently lost their game to Galatasaray 1-0. And from these stats, they had more shots on target, had more possession. Well, possession was 50-50. They had more passing accuracy, but it just came down to Galatasaray scoring an early goal and them just staying in the game, parking the bus, and maintaining defensive structure. And with Liverpool, I mean, they have a problem with their attack and their build up, because playing Dominic Szoboszlai in the left wing when he's a midfielder is haram. Playing Mo Salah, who has no legs, in the right wing is haram. Florian Wirtz has had a mediocre season. Has just shined only in the middle of the season, and he is slowly starting to build up form, but was substituted by Cody Gakpo. And I've been saying this, Arnie Slot has not recruited well in this team. Not at all. If my in my opinion, he wasted too much money on fullbacks and defenders. One defender got injured for the whole season. One of the fullbacks he doesn't use, he makes them child bench. Frimpong was supposed to be Trent Alexander's replacement, and instead he became a bench warmer. And it's crazy, it's really crazy. Curtis Jones is not even being used. Um, it's a dismal thing, man. It's dismal. This Liverpool squad, like, they got no depth in the attack. Isak is injured for the whole season. And to be fair, that Isak signing was not necessary. Was really not necessary. You got Hugo Ekitike, who's better than Isak, more skillful than Isak, suits the system better than Isak. But Arnie Slot was being greedy. He wanted more blockbuster in the attack because he was a bit insecure about his squad, because he didn't replace Mo Salah. That is the whole point. Like, Mo Salah ruins the attack. Don't care what people say. He's not better than Eden Hazard. He's not better than Thierry Henry. Like, those comparisons need to stop. They need to stop, people. Mo Salah is done. He is dust. He has no pace. The athleticism that was carrying him for years has run its course, and it has run down. Now, what do Liverpool need to do to get in for the second leg? They need to score 2 quick goals. They need to avoid Galatasaray from conceding, from scoring a goal. Excuse me. And from how Galatasaray squad is made up, they got depth, people. You got Gundogan, Leroy Sane, Mario Icardi on the bench. Is crazy. That's some ballers. Of course, they're out of their element, of course, but that is some ballers. Nevertheless, and you got Victor Osimhen playing in the attack. It's a decent squad, and they got enough players to cause havoc in the team. And in this game, Liverpool need to score first in the second leg. They need to avoid conceding, and they ultimately need to control the game at home. But the thing is, with their home record this season, it has been horrendous. It has been trash. Anfield is no longer a forest that Jurgen Klopp has left it to be, and is basically run like a brothel that Arnie Slot has created, man, where they just come in and out with losses. And sometimes they win at home, but it's not the same build up because Liverpool have been trash this whole season. And if they've conceded um about 39 goals this season, which is trash, meaning the defending is terrible, very terrible. And yeah, man, they've only scored 48 goals, and we Manchester United have scored more goals than Liverpool, and that just tells you everything we need to know. Because Liverpool were ahead of United in the beginning of the season. United fighting for their lives in relegation because we had that Ruben Cameron fraud as our manager, whose name won't be mentioned on this channel because his name is banned from this channel. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a Uno reverse in it, and Liverpool are in shambles, and they got a lot to prove to themselves for that second leg. Now we come to the league leaders in Arsenal. Arsenal are being. Let me tell you this now. Arsenal are being carried by the FA and UEFA officials. The referees have been suspect, making weird calls against Arsenal. And I started seeing this in the beginning of the season. I started seeing it even more vividly against Tottenham. And I started seeing it even worse in this Champions League run. The fact that they gave them a late penalty when that wasn't even supposed to be a penalty is suspect. Now, Mikel Arteta, I don't know if him or the owners are throwing in brown envelopes to these officials from both FA and UEFA. Something is fishy about this. It really is, man. Arsenal are not a good team, not at all. They rely on set pieces too much. And in the game against the sixth place team, Leverkusen, you have to understand that Arsenal are not who they say they are on paper. Arsenal are not the team that they are on paper. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just have to mention this to you. Yes, they had more possession. Yes, they outpassed Leverkusen. Yes, they dominated the ball more. Leverkusen had a goal in the 46th minute, and if they had just held on defensively, they could have at least gotten away with a win here. Now, I expect Arsenal to reply better at the Etihad, at the Emirates, excuse me, and with this squad, I'm expecting two set piece goals from these guys. Leverkusen don't really have a good team. It's a bunch of young academy players, young players, some experienced players there and there. But overall, like they're not there. Their 3-4-2-1 formation is I don't think it'll be enough for them to go and leave with the win, especially at the Emirates. And I expect Arsenal to come back um, from this horrible performance in the second leg. But in itself, it's a disgrace that the EPL leaders, people who are in contention of a title race, drawing against a team that is sixth place in the German league. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. From the past where we used to see Premier League teams dominate other English teams, now we're seeing Premier League teams who are top of the log struggle against teams who are not even top four in their leagues. It's a disgrace. Does that really show the levels and the talents of the Premier League? Does it really show how fierce the Premier League is from other leagues in across Europe? No, it doesn't. It does not, because you're contradicting yourself if you're saying that this Arsenal team is a threat in Europe. They're not. They're not. I believe Arsenal will win the second leg, but once they get drawn against a team like with Bayern or Madrid or even PSG, it is wraps. It is wraps, people. You got to understand this Arsenal team is not a trophy winning team, not at all. And I've seen it. I've seen it. If they're struggling against a Leverkusen team that's playing three at the back, it's gonna be tough for them. It's gonna be real tough. And now my predictions for these games is that Arsenal can win the second leg, but what they need to do is they need to get two early set piece goals because we know they don't score from open play. We know this. They need to score at least the first goal and avoid Leverkusen scoring a goal any point in the night. Now, if Leverkusen score first, it's going to be a long night for the Gunners. That is my prediction. And my prediction for that game is Arsenal will go through. So yes, we got Liverpool and Arsenal going through in the second leg. But I wouldn't be surprised Liverpool don't go through. That second leg because of the Anfield judge that's been happening right now. Now we move on to Newcastle. Newcastle have drawn against Barcelona, and what I saw from that game is that Newcastle United are a very athletic, physical team. We've known this, but they lack the quality up front. They lack a certain level of quality from the defensive end. And listen, Tonali is a supreme midfielder, very good midfielder. He really impressed me in that game. But he is not enough for these guys to go anywhere near far than this round of 16. And the reason why I say they're going to lose at Spain is because they had the home advantage for the first leg, but they blew it in the last dying minutes by conceding a penalty because, like I said, the defense is not structured and is ill disciplined. This Barcelona team is not the best teams to ever been assembled, but they are an attacking threat. Now, with their high line, Newcastle could not penetrate that high line and could not counter attack on them with that high line. And yes, Newcastle had more shots, 16 to 10, more shots on target, 5 to 3, but it was ultimately Barcelona's possession that kept them in the game. Yes, and now I've been saying this Premier League teams are just athletic and are more physical. But when it comes to ball holding, if they're not City or Arsenal, they're not going to hold the ball. They're just not. They're not considered those sort of teams. English football is not built upon ball retention and ball possession. It's built upon physicality and athleticism and hard working dogs. And that's what Newcastle has, but it's not enough to produce the final magic. As you can see, they had Harry Barnes, Anthony Elanga, and this man them here, William Asula, who's ass by the way. I don't think he's nice. He may have scored a winning goal against my team, but that's not the point. The point is that he's not what Newcastle need to be beating big teams like Barcelona. And this is why they're not really a Champions League squad, even by this season standards. Last season standards, they may have qualified for Champions League, but that was because, Eddie Howe had a better squad. He had Isak, he had better players around him, and he had a better system. I mean, this system is all right, but I think Tonali and Jollington are better off in a midfield too. Jacob Ramsey was very shit, by the way. Was not good at all, and I believe he was not a good signing for Newcastle. But the problem is Newcastle is they're not a big enough club to attract big names to their team. And Tonali is not going to stay in this team for too long. I believe so. I believe if United can sign Tonali, that would be our midfield, you know. And apparently, it's the Gunners, Arsenal, and United who are interested in Tonali. And we'll talk about United's transfer links later on in the show. But ultimately speaking, in that second leg, you know, if Barca can start with Danny Olmo, drop Fermin Lopez, um, Maybe start Marcus Rashford as a striker. They can maybe, not even maybe, they can beat Newcastle. And I'll give them a 2-0 win. Because Lewandowski, as good as he is, as great as he was, his athleticism didn't suit this away game. And he was non-existent in the final third. Had opportunities to score a couple of chances, but ultimately his age is catching up to him. Would have Ferran Torres done better? Maybe. Marcus Rashford, maybe. Because of their youth and their athleticism, they could have suited the game better. But that's Hansi Flick's mistake for starting Lewandowski. And ultimately, Lamine Yamal had a horrible game against the Geordies. Was non-existent. Didn't complete a lot of passes in that first half. He didn't really break the game. Wasn't really giving any problems for Newcastle's defense. Only caught that last-minute penalty, and I think he'll play better in the Camp Nou, knowing that it's a home advantage. But Lamine Yamal has a lot to improve on, especially in terms of these sorts of big games. Because in the big games away from Barcelona, he has been ghosting a lot. And it's a big concern for me because this guy has been compared to the likes of Lionel Messi, Neymar, and the thing is about Messi and Neymar is that they showed up even in away games because away games tells a lot about the character of the player. And what it tells me a lot about Yamal is that he gets overwhelmed against in places that he's not comfortable in, which is something he has to shake off. For the future of his career, he has to shake off this away game drought that he's been in terms of performance. Yes, he got the goal. I understand that. We're not about goals and stats in this channel. We're about the performance because that's how football is being judged. His performance was poor. Rafinha's performance was poor. All right, Lewandowski's performance was poor. Ferran Lopez's performance was poor. The only player that kept Barcelona in the game was Pedri. I'm gonna be real with you, and I've been saying this. Pedri is the key player in this Barcelona's team because he starts off the attack with the control in the midfield. And when he gets the ball, it is very hard to take the ball away from him. Ladies and gentlemen, Pedri is extremely gifted in controlling the spacing in tight space, extremely gifted in the ball manipulation and ball control in tight, small spaces. And the Newcastle press is notorious for trying to press midfielders like Pedri, but because Pedri is too skilled and is unpressable, that press was non-existent around my baller. And I've been saying this, once Pedri came off, he kind of the Barcelona midfield was kind of imbalanced a little bit. And Marc Casada came on, and Xavi Espart came on. The two youngsters who are still getting used to this team and the system. But ultimately, I believe Ferran Lopez is still a bench warmer. He's not a starter yet, especially in big games like this. A lot of the times he was physically getting pushed off the ball, but ultimately the Geordies had the home advantage and could not capitalize because of their lackluster of attack. Now, how do they do in the second leg? They will crash out in the second leg because in an away game against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, it's not going to be enough. They don't have enough experience or anyone in the squad to carry them in a game in the atmosphere and in the intensity of the Camp Nou in a Champions League. And I believe from these three teams I've just mentioned to you, Arsenal and Newcastle will go through. But that still doesn't change the fact that Newcastle has ass and another representation of an EPL team trying to do justice in the Premier League, failing, and then trying to do justice in the UCL and also failing, guys, which is trash. Now we move on to my favorite club, Tottenham Hotspur. Hey, man, listen. These guys caught the ass beating of a lifetime, and this was a complete disaster class by Igor Totti. I mean, if you're gonna go 4-0 down in the first 22 minutes of the game, it's some shaky times. It's really spooky. It's really scary. And Kingsley, the goalkeeper for Tottenham, made two errors, probably three, and he got substituted off same time. And that just in itself proves that ego does not have the dressing room. The team chemistry is non-existent. The players have checked out of this team because the player who asked for ego to substitute Kingsley was Christian Romero, and Romero is one of the leaders of this team, if not the captain. And that tells me that there is no one in charge of this squad. As it is, Tottenham had a very limited squad going into this game, had less of substitutions than Atletico Madrid. And what I can tell you is this 3-4-3 formation is not working at all. It's not working at all. I've been telling guys the three formation in football is dead. It's dead. Unless you have full backs who know how to attack, you'll be cool. But this three at the back formation against an elite attack like Atletico Madrid with Griezmann and Julian Alvarez, it's raps for you. It's raps. And the goals these men them conceded were haram. Two slips, basically three slips, two other errors. And honestly to God, like Tottenham are gonna they might get relegated. They might get relegated. And this proves to you another fact that the EPL is finished. Tottenham, who are 16th in the league, 1 point away from relegation, losing 5-2 to Atletico Madrid just shows you the lack of quality in this league. Tottenham, who are supposedly a top six team, have drastically fell off in this football field. It have fell off in the football world. Tottenham, I think, are top 10 most richest clubs in the world. Number 8 to be considered. Probably top 5, I think. And if they get relegated, they're expected to lose 250 million euros. And that's how much money they're worth, guys. And the thing is, they have the funds to be recruiting the best players in the world. But the issue is with Tottenham Hotspur is that their board members are American who have changed the club into a franchise, into an NBA, NFL team. The problem is with NBA, NFL compared to La Liga and EPL is that those teams stay in the league regardless of where they finish in the log. There is no relegation in the location. But when it comes to sports in Europe, there is relegation. There are sick. There is a second league. There is a third league below, and that is the difference. The board members and the club owners have made this club into a franchise NFL team, and that is the reason why they don't recruit serious players. How you gonna sign Chavi Simmons, Conor Gallagher, Brandon Austin, Koulameni, and Matisse Thiel and expect to challenge for top 4 or even the league? You can't challenge with these players, these mediocre players you've just used. You just can't. You can't, guys. It makes no sense. They signed Dominic Solanke, who was, I think, top 3 top goal scorers 3 seasons ago. Came to Spurs and he's been shit ever since. And you see, in this game, there's not much to say because of the errors that Tottenham conceded. And these are the latest new signings. Kingsley's the latest signing. Van der Ven is another latest signing. These are all signings who are bums. You understand what I'm saying? This is a top 4 EPL team signing players who are bums. That just shows you. It just proves to you. Alvarez used to play for City, Left City, went to Atletico Madrid, who not even won the league. But he knows Atletico Madrid are a serious team. That's the difference between Atletico Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur. And listen, that second leg, Tottenham Hotspur might as well not show up. They might as well not show up, even if they're playing at home. We saw how they lost at home against Crystal Palace 3-0 in first half. What makes you think Tottenham are going to come back against Atletico Madrid in that second leg? How I predict this game is that Tottenham Hotspur are going to get creamed, proper creamed in the face. 3-0, 8-2 on aggregate. That's what I see. Maybe even 4-0 if they come with the right attitude. Understand what I'm saying? Because this Tottenham Hotspur defense, the midfield, this is trash. The defense is the reason why these guys are in the relegation with the location. Because they didn't recruit well in the defense. You still got Christian Mero, you got Van der Ven who's slipping off his toes here, conceding goals against Madrid. It's raps. It's I'm telling you now, it's cheeks for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm just saying, man, another reason why the Premier League is trash and these EPL teams have been nothing but shambolic in this UCL run. I predict Tottenham Hotspur, they're going to lose in that second leg. We move on. Man City getting absolutely smoked in the first half against Madrid. And I watched this game in my watch along, and I mentioned to you in my watch along that Pep Guardiola was partially to blame for starting a weak starting lineup against a powerhouse, mediocre Madrid, who are missing Bellingham, Jude, and Mbappe. No, Jude, Mbappe, and Rodrigo. They're missing three of their star players, and they still got dunked on by Valverde, who scored his first hat-trick ever for Madrid. How you gonna get dunked on by a midfielder, bro? Not even the attackers. Vinicius Jr. had an okay game, caught an assist, missed a penalty. Had a lot of incompleted passes, but that's just Vinny. I've been saying Vinny's trash. You cannot play Semenyo as a cam. Savinho's been off form this season. But then again, you're misprofiling him. He's actually a left wing, not a right wing. Dogo has been off this season. So why don't you play, another winger there in Phil Foden or Omar Mamush? And I'll tell you the reason why Pep Guardiola doesn't like Ryan Jerk and Omar Mamush is because they don't play the way he wants to play. Those are two players who are mavericks. They want to dribble and shoot from outside the box and take chances. They want to take risks. They do not want to keep the ball and keep this ball retention, ball possession bullshit. Because as soon as Valverde scored the first goal, these men still decided to play small touch passing, build up from the back. They had a chance earlier to take their chances and scored like 2 or 3 goals. But Jeremy Doku misprofiled the pass. Bernardo Silva is too old and doesn't have legs and missed the opportunity. I think Savinho had an opportunity, missed that too. But Haaland was non-existent in today's game. Like these games, people would ignore Haaland's performance because it's Erling Haaland. But I'll tell you this, Erling Haaland cannot create his own chances, cannot start passing, cannot start build-up play, and cannot score in away big games. I've never seen him score against Madrid away from home. Maybe I've seen it once or twice, but he lacks the consistency. And you cannot compare him to Kun Aguero, man. Kun Aguero was more consistent than this fool. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that, man. This man had an embarrassing game. Madrid had more shots, 11-9, 7-5 on target. City had more possession, 556 passes, but no one had less shots on target than Madrid. And that tells you everything about Pep Guardiola's football and his style, bro. His style is it's making the players rotten. It is. I guarantee you now, man, no player wants to just keep passing from side to side, down the middle, side to side the whole game. Haaland is fiending, desperate to score goals. But you can't score goals when you're just passing from side to side, bro. That's how you attack, pass to side. There's no direct passing, there's no fast-paced build-up, there's no counter-attacks, there's absolutely nothing in this team. Pep Guardiola is his arrogance and his pride is what's gonna make City not win anything this season if he continues to play this sort of football. He needs to go back to the beginning of the season. The assistant attacking coach was in charge of most of the build-up. Pep Guardiola gave the build-up to him because he realized last season he was on some bullshit with this possession ball retention bullshit. And that's the reason why they gave Liverpool the league. And so Pep Guardiola in his first 10 games gave hands to this attacking manager. This attacking manager had to do what he needed to do. And they actually were in a winning streak. Then Pep Guardiola, his pride and his ego got in the way and said, listen, this is my team actually. I'm going to take this away from this manager and I'm going to play the same football I usually play. And what happened? Draws, back-to-back draws, back-to-back losses. You know, losing points now in a second place title contending race against Arsenal, who are just as ass as these guys are. And it's what's the reason for this? It's because of Pep Guardiola's pride and ego. This is what I'm saying, man. It's the pride and ego of this Boldy, and it's the reason why these guys are gonna continue to struggle in the form that they're in. Many people thought that City were gonna dunk on Madrid because of how awful Madrid are and the injuries they have. But no, this is Champions League. You understand? When it's Champions League, Madrid switch on. It's football heritage when Madrid play Champions League. Understand what I'm saying? No matter how off form they are in the league or in cup competitions, when it comes to the Champions League, these guys take it like it's a cup final every freaking game. And City underestimated that. They thought that this was going to be another walk in the park. And Pep decided to start this lackluster, weak lineup because he underestimated Madrid. Do not ever underestimate these Los Blancos gangsters in a bright lights Friday nights, Saturday nights of the Champions League, bro. These men will win a game blindfolded because it's just in their DNA. The Champions League is made for them. And I'm a Barcelona fan, bro. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? We move on, people. We move on. Now, what do City need to do to get back into the second leg? First and foremost, they need to start Foden in the left or on the right. Either Semenyo must play on the left, Foden on the right, Jerky in the middle. And then I would put Haaland and Marmoush as two attackers up front. Forget about Bernardo Silva. Replace him for Reinders with Rodri. Because this Bernardo Silva fella has no legs. Does not track back. He's not an effective player coming attackingly and defensively. His head is not in the game. It's almost as if his head is at Barcelona because he really wanted to leave this team and Pep Guardiola begged him to stay, which was a bad sign. Start Ryan and Nori in the right or in the left and tell Nico O'Reilly to go to the right. That's what I would do with Pep Guardiola. And then tell your team to not keep the ball and go for the win. Score the first 2 quick goals or score 3 quick goals in that second leg, bro. And not keep possession at all until you're in a comfortable lead in the second leg. Don't even give Madrid chance or room to breathe in that second leg. I would drill the press and the aggressive attacking counters in training, just so the players can keep in their head that it's a cup final. But a part of me is kind of suspicious and fishy that last night's performance is them basically saying that they are focused on the league, not the Champions League. Because I've never seen City, modern day City, lose 3-0 in the first half, especially a Pep Guardiola team. It's very hard. It's very hard that I've seen performances like this for a very blockbuster squad that City have, man. I mean, they had Nathan Ike, John Stones, Phil Foden, Nico Gonzalez in the bench, bro. This crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy names I've just mentioned to y'all. Now that's how what City need to do to win the second leg. Will they do it? Who knows? Because Pep Guardiola is a fiend who just wants to do his own thing. We move on to Chelsea, who also caught hands. 5-2. Hey, these London teams, bro. These Northern London teams, I just don't know. I just don't know, man. They love to concede 5 goals. PSG had 10 shots to 7, 7 shots on target to 4, had more possession, of course, 580 passes to 423. Ultimately control the game, but this goalkeeper for Chelsea, Jorgensen, kind of fumbled the bag. He really did fumble the bag. I just don't know. It was a disgraceful performance by him, conceding these 5 goals. Um, Reece James playing in the midfield in games like this against a high possession team it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. James cannot play the fullback position because of his injuries. He doesn't have the same capacity to go up and down in the pitch. You know, the attack with João Pedro, Paul, um, this guy Neto, and Cole Palmer on the right. Cole Palmer had a horrible game, by the way. Horrible game. Got substituted off for Garnacho, and Liam Delap came on for João Pedro. And listen, man, guys, like Chelsea don't have a bench. We don't. And the problem is with Chelsea Football Club is that they sign these young academy players on some we're going to experiment, and it's not going to work because you need experience for games like this in the Champions League. Selling Thiago Silva, big mistake because you would have at least kept that position, the defense as composed and in control because of his experience. You know, you can't sign players based on experimentation if you're a top 4 team. If you're top 4, sign at least 2 players on experimentation, knowing that they're going to be coming off the bench. You cannot sign 5 players on experimentation and sign Alejandro Garnacho and expect to win anything. You're just not. Caicedo needs another midfielder to move with him because I honestly believe Enzo Fernandez is not an 8. I mean a 10. He's not a 10. He is more or less a holding midfielder. He's a 6. You can't even play the 8 position. So you need to sign an experienced midfielder. You could have signed Ferdinand or João Neves if you all was serious. But Usman Dembele dunked on you guys. Bacola scored an absolute banger on you guys. Ferdinand scored an absolute zinger on you fellas. Because y'all want serious. Kavaleshke came off the bench and scored 2 goals on you guys to finish you guys off because you guys are not serious. Chelsea Football Club has the same problem that Tottenham have. They're run by Americans who have changed the club into a franchise NFL NBA team. And that in itself is not how you do things in football. Now they're gonna say that it's Todd Boehly's fault. Todd has given most of his sporting direct job to a highly um, more experienced person. He's given most of his remains to football experts and football scouts who understand the game, but the problem is that they do not want to waste money on experienced players and instead want to give 7-year contracts to Andre Santos, you know, and all these other Brazilian brothers that they've been signing off the black market here, bro, because they think that nah, if we invest in the future, we're gonna be ahead of the game. If we sign a player like Garnacho, we're gonna be ahead of the game. And I've told you guys before, man. When he was playing for United, this guy was trash. He was trash, and if anything, I was so happy when Chelsea signed this fool because Garnacho is ass. And like Chelsea are not a serious team, man. You cannot sign Pedro Neto and expect to compete for the league when he's played for Wolves. You can sign João Pedro. But the thing is, João Pedro is that this man is not a gunman. Because in the Premier League, he has about 14 goals in 29 matches, 5 assists. That's great. That's great. But the problem is, my guys, is that he's not world class. Yeah, he's Premier League proven, but he's not a Harry Kane. He's Premier League proven, but he's not a Erling Haaland. In games like this, where was he? Where was he, guys? His lack of experience in the Champions League is the reason why he's not useful in games like this. And you will learn, guys. You guys will learn. Now, in the second leg, Chelsea are going to have to pray for a miracle. Because as it stands, the way their team attack and the way their team defend, they are bound to concede 2 more goals. They might score 1, but that final score will be 2-1, 7-3 to PSG off rip. Now, we move on. What does the future of the EPL look like right now? As it stands from all these fixtures, I've just said that Liverpool, with Arsenal. So now out of all 6 teams, Arsenal are the only ones that can go through. So 1 out of 6. That's basically 10%, 0.5% if we're being real. Only one team can qualify for the round of 6 for the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That's coming from the EPL. The standard of this league has dropped, people. If you're not believing, if you're not awake to this trash of this league. I mean, I've just mentioned to you guys that Arsenal are going to be the only team to qualify for the quarterfinals, and Arsenal are ass with their set-piece rubbish football. And if they win the league, it will be a confirmation of the downfall of this league. Unless my team, Manchester United, can save that next season. Because I guarantee you now, we signed 4 world-class players. We are in for that title race because there is no competitive top 4 teams in the Premier League anymore. I've just mentioned 3 teams that finished in the top 4 last season. City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Out of all those 3 teams, 1 team can qualify for the quarterfinals. And that team is worse than all the other 3 teams I've just mentioned to you. Now, that in itself proves to me and to you, the audience, that this league ain't it anymore. And for the future of this league, it's only going to get worse. It is only going to get worse. I'm telling you now. Don't expect a Premier League team to win the Champions League anytime soon for the next 2 or 5 years. Don't expect it. Just don't. I get that Arsenal finished top of the log in the Champions League undefeated, but it's not enough. It's not enough, people. Because when it matters in the knockout stages, these guys will fumble. I promise you now. I promise you. Now, some updates for Manchester United. Some updates, man. So now we got some academy trios to sign with Jay Z's talent agency. I don't know whether this is real or not, but if Jay Z's looking at our team, it's kind of bright for our future. Jay Z's already invested in Liverpool shares, but as it stands right now, it seems like United are gonna spend a lot of money in the summer. They're interested in signing a United States wonder kid player, Taylor Adams from Bournemouth, which will be a very good signing for our midfield. Liverpool and Chelsea are all interested in Bournemouth in signing Taylor Adams, but I believe that we don't need him. We need Carlos Balabe, Adam Wharton, and Elime Ndai from Everton. Ilman Ndai, if he can sign with us and play as a forward on the left, listen, we're gonna peak, man, because Ndai is a very good dribbler, very good, skillful player, man. Dominate in the wing position, and right now it seems that we're looking at the midfield, the fullback positions. What I need is two midfielders, one left back, one right winger, and one left wing. So two, three, four. Yeah, four signings. Like I said, bro, four world class signings. Now it's apparent that Luis Enrique might get the job if Carrick doesn't get the job. Luis Enrique speaks excellent English, wants to work in the Premier League one day, but also wants to be with the right project. Whether Manchester United can convince him taking over Old Trafford ticks that box is another question. But for now, Michael Carrick remains favorite. I think this is about, it's about time for Carrick to be considered um, the permanent manager for the job because of his experience as an English manager, his experience as a coach, understands the club, and we'll have to see. We'll just have to see. Joshua Zirkzee eyeing a summer exit for Manchester United. I don't think so. I think he's buying his time and is if he continues to perform coming off the bench like he did against Newcastle, he will eventually win his starting lineup place, man. It's about taking time, and if he can get a moment coming off the bench, he'll start more games. As it is, I believe he should start over Brian Mbeumo because Brian Mbeumo has been poor all season. Not all season, but when he's been playing, he hasn't been improving. And so I believe that Xerxes just needs to buy some time. And this project, this build of Manchester United is a project that some players are not willing to walk away from. And Joshua Xerxes is one of those players. He's one of the players that was signed for the build. So I don't think he should walk away from it at any case whatsoever. It'd be dumb, it'd be stupid. So I don't see him leaving next season. Roberto De Zerbi is keen on the Manchester United job. He figures prominently on United's shortlist as they decide on who will be the next permanent head coach. Listen, De Zerbi is a great coach, very good coach. But the problem is that this guy be beefing with every board he's been in. He was beefing with Brighton and their board before he left. He was beefing with Marseille and their board before they sacked him. Because he's a maverick of a coach. The maverick of a coach is good, but sometimes it's bad when you're beefing with the wrong people. Now, I don't necessarily like the three at the back, but the way he coached the three at the back, it's going to be more progressional, and he knows the Premier League very well. But as it stands, Michael Carrick is leading the poll for me. Then behind him is Luis Enrique. Then behind Enrique is De Zerbi. And if Carrick doesn't get the job, I either want De Zerbi or Luis Enrique. PSG's Bradley Bocola, RB Leipzig Jan Demandi, Cosmos Jesus Rodriguez, Strasbourg's Martial Cordu, and Everton's Iman Dai are all in Manchester's agenda as they look to sign a new left wing. Dai is my guy. He's Premier League proven, and he's the best out of all those players in my opinion. Bakola's, of course he's plays for PSG, a bigger club, but he's got nothing compared to Ndai and the level of tech and skill that Ndai has. So yeah, man. Yeah, I just believe that a lot of things are happening in the club, the signings and the guys we're interested in are all the right positions for the job and for the signings we need. They're all in the right positions. The left wing role, we need that role. I believe Dogo can play the left wing, but if he's not playing left wing, he can play left back. But we need to sign left back, and I don't see us being linked to a left back. I see us being linked to midfielders and wingers. Now, it shouldn't be a priority, but most Champions League, most championship winning teams have a solid midfield. Now, wingers are part of the midfield. And if we have a strong midfield like Ndai and a strong midfield like Carlos Baleba or Adam Wharton, we can be gladly and say this that we are back and we're gonna contend for the title. If we can sign a left back, maybe a center back, then I can say we've got the squad depth for all competitions. But as it is, man, we just need to focus on getting the 3 points against Villa next week. This coming Sunday, I mean. We're gonna do a watch along for that game also. We got Bournemouth, Leeds, Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, Forest, and Brighton. 9 games left. 9 games left. And I believe we'll finish top three. We will finish top three. We got no choice but to finish top three. And yeah, football will kill you if you support a Premier League team. Because as it stands, these Premier League teams are ass. I want to thank y'all for pulling up to the show, for pulling up to this reading and this confirmation that these teams in the English Queen of a land are ass. Like and subscribe. It's good karma. And until next time, people, this is the reclusive artist, 33 in the flesh. May God bless you. Whatever it is you do, 2026 will be the best year of your life. And it is the best year of your life. Peace out, y'all.